Okay, let's start. Okay, let me just send you my email address. If you want to send me an email, then send to this one, because my staff will remind me to reply them if I didn't. If you send to TerraSeeds, right, sometimes I take my own sweet time, because then there's no reminder for me to reply them. Sometimes I will reply your message, sometimes my staff, sometimes my team also. But if it's IBF course, I'll reply that myself, because they don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let me just start with a question. Short already. Oh, okay. All right. So let me start. How much retracement do you suggest we wait till we execute? For the past few days, I've seen every time I trade after trigger bar, the price retraces before hitting my TP. Like for today, should I wait for retracement there or even deeper? Okay. You see, the market, right, it's unfortunately will not be obedient. Okay. When you are able to trade profitably, it is not whether there are many factors, okay, I have to say. All right. One of the factors is consistency. All right, meaning that when you see the same thing, every time you use the same action to go and deal with it. So for example, when you should stop loss, you stop out, that's the rule. And when you should take profit, you take profit. And when you should trigger, you trigger. Okay, so this consistency, unfortunately, does not lie with human. Okay, there can be different group of people who are very, very, who can follow rules very well, who can stick to rules very well, right? But because human, we are emotional, we are just a different breed, right? So we don't do it, we don't behave in this manner. There are people who are very, very precise, rule following, etc. Right? So it is not how much it will be retraced. So for example, if today you wait for the opening bar low and you wait for retracement there, and then it doesn't retrace, it just go one straight line. Okay. There are also moments where who is drawing on my screen? Okay, there are also moments where it retraces, right? And it just doesn't retrace to the place that you wanted. All right. So I won't say it's how many percent. I would say that the opening bar low, if you are shorting, that becomes a good retracement level. It might just exit a little bit. Okay, but today the context is different. Today you have to wait for retracement, because then the trigger landed right into the previous low. Okay. Yes, I know about this one. The SG free starts 1 hour later from SimSki. Yes, correct. I know that. Okay, so let me just answer the question fully. Right, so today, if you say that I want to work on a 62% retracement, the next day you can go to 76%. Today you wait for a 50, the next day you can go to 62%. It's always like that. So it's not obedient. All right. So a consistent way is to just always keep it at the opening bar low, all right, so that you can get the trade. So this is what I apply to myself, because then after so many years of trading, I realized that it's more painful for me to miss a trade than to lose money. Okay, so then I realized that I should just get the trade into the market first. Okay, that means the 2-hour market trade, and then to wait for the opening bar low, for example, as a two stage. Okay, but today is different. If you just apply today, all right, today the setting is different. Today you have to be very careful, and that's why the video I said that already. And yesterday video I also said that, you know, as price gets nearer to the support, right, you have to, and the sell trade becomes a little bit more obvious, then it gets tougher to trade. Okay. Any robo advisor for Simsky? What is a robo advisor? Trade automatically for you. I believe I'm not sure though. I think don't have, because all this advisor, right, is built on platform. Okay, so are you guys looking for all this automated trade management? Is this something that you are very interested? You are very interested? That means not to trade anymore by yourself, but then to outsource it to all this tech? Or is it because that I kept telling you that we need to go automated already, then you guys get affected? Okay, so let's get started. Yeah, there's a lot of definitely automated. I'm actually using 90% of my trades automated. Simsky is the only one that is not. That Simsky belongs to the 10%. The other 90% are automated already. Yeah, don't have, you know. I always suggested to SGX, but then they are not very supportive. Okay, let's start today's session. All right, so last week I talked about fund flow. Okay, and then this week for the Forex and the indexes in MT4, it will be launched very, very soon for the automated one. All right, I just completed the revised brief. Okay, so that one is 100%, maybe like 95% automated. And it has also the capability to keep on adding the trades for you, all right, and shifting the whole basket to a certain reward to risk ratio, so that if a trade ever is profitable, then they will keep shifting for you automatically when to hit a certain reward to risk ratio that you ask for. Okay. Today the CM50 is green. Will it affect Simsky? I think so. I don't think that you will affect Simsky or not, but then STI is at the support, right? Hang Seng is at the support. China is at the support. I think that we completed this round of selling already, so I think we should be trading a bit of an upside though. So today the key thing is with this previous bar. Okay, so let's get started. All right, let me just go through. Okay, so let me just get a few things ready first, because today I have a couple of lessons, so I need to make sure that I get all of that done. Okay, so okay, I needed to cycle a little bit of your thinking. Okay, cycle a little bit. All right. Okay, so yeah, I'm so sorry. Disclaimer page. Thanks a lot for letting me know. Okay. Okay, can see my chart already, right? Okay, now right now this is STI. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a different perspective, okay, right? About understanding prices. Okay, now you have to know few things. I'm just going to cover up, right? So for example, just treat as if the line that I've drawn in is correct, okay, something like that. Okay, just treat that the line that I'm drawing in is correct, and just treat that you don't know what happened in the future. Okay, just answer as if that of what you see and what you think at this moment. All right, so you have a resistance line which is an all-time high for this year. Okay, so for this year, and this resistance line is actually quite significant, because if you roll back, you realize that the red line that I've drawn in here is a pre-COVID high. Okay, right, just give you a bit of a background to this high here. Right, so this happens during February 2020, right? So that's during the Chinese New Year. So if you remember at that point of time, right, China already came out with this, not COVID, at that point of time, they still called Wuhan virus. And then the Singapore market was, the China market was closed, but the Singapore market was still trading for a while, because China market, Chinese New Year, they were closed for quite some time. Okay, so I remember that when the Wuhan virus came out, my RM told me can buy, because it will be like SARS. Okay, it will pass very soon. All right, I have a different thoughts from him, so I actually didn't enter any position. In fact, that I look at this STI, to me that's really very weak already. All right, okay, but I wanted to talk about this level here. So that's a key level that all of us can see. But do you see also this level here, which is this one? Okay, I'm just going to color this in blue. All right, now, so this is also another key level. I mean, do you agree? Yes, you will also see 3,283, or maybe round it up, right? 3,300 as key level. Okay, but I have to say, not many people can look so far. Not many people will look so far. And of course, then many people, even knowing it, right, won't be doing anything. Okay, but all these levels, right, are being used, meaning that people will use it. But I wanted to change a little bit on the psychology of thinking. Okay, so in the past, all right, where a lot of, I won't say it's old tech, but a lot of training has been to the concept of a breakout. Okay, but in the past, what is in the past, 10 years ago, right, there wasn't a lot of automations going around. Okay, I'm just going to remove the blue line. Just remember the blue line is about 3,283, okay, plus minus around there. Okay, so when you see this red line here, which is a recent high, then people can remember, right? Okay, so therefore, when price close above it like this, okay, so what would you think from here? Would you be looking as that the bull is very strong already, and it's very, very bullish, and would you be rushing in to buy? Of course, then you're going to tell me that I need to take a look at volume. All right, so let's say volume is constant. I mean, it tells you nothing. Okay, no extra volume coming in, no lesser volume, just normal volume, right? So what would you be doing when price breaks above like this one here? Okay, above the red line. Okay, I mean, you'll be thinking that it's bullish because that's the breakout, and a lot of people are being trained in this manner, right? But it has been proven many, many times, right? As we get more and more automated, and where more and more people knows about, I wouldn't say generally technical analysis, okay? Where last time getting access to a chart means that you have to go and draw that on a piece of graph paper, versus now easily on your mobile phone, right? You could just look at it and then you can see the prices. So when you have this type of behavior, it doesn't mean that the trend will not continue, but the change of mindset, right? There is a change in mindset, or there's a change in mindset amongst those people in control, or those people who are let's say the big player. Whoever you define the big player, people who are in control, is actually, we don't know who they are. Actually, I also don't know who they are. We just label them as just, I call them the aliens, okay? So that's why in my method, it's called the alien wash, right? So therefore, you have this one here that going to attract many people to buy because of this breakout. Okay, but you know, remember 3283, that's a key level. So that key level was not known, not remembered, because it's not too recent. Okay, it happens a few years ago. So when you have this, then there is a very easy chance, right, for people to move it down, and it's easy to trade. Why is it easy to trade? Because nobody expected that price would drop from here. Okay, so for example, if everybody move in to buy and then suddenly that the market drop, I won't use the term called collapse, it's just drop, right? What would you do then? I mean, if it suddenly just turned the other side and you bought in high here, what would you react? How would you react? You won't walk, you will run. Okay, you will run to exit your position, or you will be in quite a panic mood, right, to go and exit your position. Okay, because then you knew that, you probably know that, right, you bought at the high. Okay, the fact that you bought at the high, you don't feel good anymore. Okay, so your heart not very sturdy. Okay, and then when it suddenly have a turn, right, then you would want to, you know, like this, when it appear here, you will want to just quickly exit your position. So this is the reason why when we had the lesson on Tuesday, I make a remark. I say, hey, look, you know, you want to go short here, because then there will be a lot of people who have actually entered, okay, entered already, all right, and then will be scrambling to exit the position, because they probably knew that this is the last leg in their subconsciousness, but they just want to give it a try because there was a breakout and now it's drastically turned the other side. All right, then they also, you know, it's like fire. Okay, so when you shot that, so you know, it's like people who are trying adding the oil to the fire and everybody just scrambling to come out. Okay, so that's the reason why when we traded on Tuesday, it became a very easy move. Okay, and even though that it's near to the previous low, you realize that my reaction to your questions became very different. I was really wanting to just put in the trade. Okay, but today's recording is like, no, it's at the previous low already, and then it's at the support. Then if you want to trade, then you have to be very careful, etc. Okay, it has to do with this mindset here. Now, then today what happened? Today the thinking is different already. Okay, today the thinking is that, yes, I know that that previous high, right, this high here has been broken. Okay, broken means that breaks above it and then it's break back in. Okay, but those people who really want to buy, right, it's right now being exposed to a different set of rules. What are the set of rules they are being exposed to? Right, then they will see it differently in the way that right now priced is near to a support, because then the previous high has been broken, all right, with a bit of a consolidation around here. And then people will be seeing these as a bit of a support, all right. Now, even though the previous resistance, so this was a resistance, it broke, right? It broke, right? And then it's back down into that resistance, but they are looking at this whole movement as a drop of 75 points, okay, from the high to the low, probably a discount. All right, and then they'll be coming back into here and say that, hey, look, this could be an uptrend still, and if I can just buy here, all right, at the low, for example, for that move up here, I can still make some money. Okay, so you have to understand that mindset. So even all these tiny little bit of a levels are still relevant, are still you know, how to say, relevant to the current trading market, but definitely the whole mindset, right, to consider will be different. Okay, so going forward, there are a few things that might happen. Okay, now number one, of course, you have to look at the current trend. The trend is still up, so we are we are not forgetting what we learned in the trend analysis, right? Such as, for example, they're not textbook example, they're really happening live here. Such as, for example, right, if you take a look at the recent trend here, so we have a low, a high, a higher low, okay? And then, of course, higher high, all right? And then all these are all higher low. And we are still making a higher high. And aren't we still making a higher low? Right? Yes, we are still making an uptrend here. So therefore, when price came down here at a discount, then the people will be saying that, hey, look, it's at the support, all right? It's still an uptrend, okay? So we learned about also a possible trend reversal. So for example, we know that price came here, all right? And right now it's actually heading a little bit up, but we do not know whether this up, right, is going to make a lower high, okay? We don't know, all right? We don't know that it's going to make a lower high, all right? So if it does, then we might have an opportunity to sell, because what it means is that, okay, what it means is that right now price has moved below this red line here, which was a previous resistance. So there was a previous resistance, right? Then it broke, right? And then after that, it moved back down. That means that this resistance that it broke, right, wasn't successfully broken at this point of time. So if price can move down, then if it moved up like this, okay, clean cut, we're gonna have a continuation in terms of buy, okay? But what if it doesn't move up? Okay, what if it happens just at this point here like this, it stopped here, all right? Today, that's what we saw, all right? It goes up and form a lower high here, and then we might have a clearer picture to say that, hey, look, all right, based on what I've learned, STI might be having a reversal pattern, might be only, okay, and I can only confirm that reversal pattern if price close below the recent low, which is here, this one, right? And then that price will be around 3,000, maybe 200, or maybe 3,000 something, 200 plus minus, okay, around that. All right, so this is how price evolve. But most important, okay, I needed to get you to rethink price movement differently. Okay, that means not to entirely say that the old concept of breakout is not useful, but to look at the context of breakout. Okay, that means that, let's say, for example, when you have context of breakout, means that when price is near to a support, then this is a range and you trade on that breakout. So that would be where a breakout is relevant. Okay, next, where price has established this range here like this. You realize that then it became the same, you are previously, I've drawn in this line here, and I say that this breakout is good, all right? And right now I'm drawing this set of a green line here, which is the same line, right? And then it broke above it, right? And then I say, hey, this breakout is not good, but it's the context. What is context here? The context is that the red set of breakout is near to a previous low, and then it broke, and it means that you have plenty of space here, okay? Space here, right? I mean, because at least you buy here, your space will be until here, so that's visible, okay? However, in terms of the current context, for example, right, if I am to just, let's say, take a look at the whole picture here, all right, in the past, right? If I am to buy on this breakout here, that means to buy up here, right? 3261. The immediate resistance available to me will be this blue line here. All right. So if I buy at 3260, immediately 20 points later, it's going to hit into a resistance. So therefore, my breakout right now is actually based on a break high, hoping that it can go higher, but that higher is only like 20 points away. Okay, so in terms of that reward to risk, you're not getting a good reward to risk here. Okay, so this is a different context. All right, so you find it's very difficult to put into perspective. Okay, perspective means that it's very difficult to tell you when that there is no range already or when there is range. Okay, so we have to unfortunately build these over time. That means that to do it with experience. All right. Okay. Next, next concept. Okay, this one you know. So I'm just letting you know that try to buy near to a support, try to sell near to a resistance. Okay. When a resistance comes in, all right, when it's at the high, then you will be looking at a possible wash and rinse. Okay, expect that wash and rinse to come in. All right. Okay, then I will answer a question later. Let me just finish what I want to say now. Okay, just give me a while. Change my. Okay, here we go. Now, so next, since price is at the support right now, okay, so we know that 3285, for example, was a historical level. All right, then when you have price coming inside here, right, there's a chance it might just go up to this 3285. Okay, all right, it might just break up a little bit, it moved up a little bit, or you might just stay nicely there as a resistance. All right, and then come back down. So when you are at this stage here, we will be looking at it at another context already. We were saying that, hey, look, there was a strong resistance and price cannot close above the previous high, and then these would be your WR. All right. Okay, so this becomes like the other perspective. Okay, so when it comes down here, let's say at here, right, and then you're going to find that, hey, look, instead of having a bullish candle, it will just go all the way below it. For example, below it like this, right? And then you say, hey, look, previously you asked us not to short because then there's a candle here. Right now, this one, all right, you asked us to go short because it just closed slightly. Why did you change your mind? So again, it's on the context also. Okay, now why is that so? When price is right now at this point of time, that means it's happening inside here at this point of time, right? We still see this as a context based on the trend. That means the trend is still nicely up. Okay. However, when price happens to be here, then what is the trend context then? The trend context has changed, right? It might not be a trending situation anymore. The fact that price cannot close above the previous high, all right, and right now is inching below the current low. So the context of a trend is different from what happened previously, all right? The context is that we might have a double top, or that the trend has flattened to potentially suggest that there might be a trend reversal. Okay, so every time when we apply the same technique over and over again, we have to ask ourselves, what is this context? Same thing, for example, when a doctor prescribes a medicine, right, they will ask whether you have any known allergy. So for example, this person doesn't have a known allergy, right? So the doctor will just prescribe like this, okay, for this particular set of problem. But then when you have a known allergy, then with the same set of problem, but you have different consideration already, you're going to prescribe differently. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say, what is happening right now to the Simski. Okay, so I'm just going to go back into the Simski already. Now, this is the Simski. Right, well, what is the context today? Okay, the context today is where it is not about how many percent of retracement it can move. Okay, the context would be that, number one, when you are shorting inside the overall context, when we met, okay, when we went on Tuesday, what happened? Price was here. Okay, so that was a Tuesday. What was my consideration? My consideration was that there was a previous high here, all right, and then this high DBS reported, and then the next day price moved up. By right, DBS reported, everybody receives the dividend should be up, right? Okay, but then instead of going up, right, price actually turned down in the futures market, right? So because of this, then I say, hey, look, you know, whoever who bought here, let me just expand that. Whoever who bought whoever who bought up here, right, at this place here, okay, when they see that price was turning down previously, right, then they will be very panicked. Okay, so my context was this is a resistance, all right, and then therefore this is a W and a R here. Okay, all right, so therefore Tuesday was a short. Now what is today's context then? Today's context is this is a previous low, all right, this whole zone is right now a support. Do you see the difference already in terms of consideration? Yes, price is still mapping lower, all right, but you are shorting into a support zone, right, and not shorting near a resistance zone. Okay, so the consideration becomes different, right? If you expand a little bit more, you realize that this previous low will gives you a very good guide, right, to what the market is seeing. Okay, with the previous low, you probably be able to see that there was a previous high here. Okay, but my main consideration was actually the recent low here. All right, so if you have shorted up here, okay, shorted up here on a uptrend, okay, you know that the trend is right now up. Okay, when you see a resistance, then what do you want to do? You want to take profit for your trade already. Okay, so today, to trade into Simski, if you take a look into, let's say, the 1 hour chart, okay, all right, the 1 hour chart, right? Yes, there was a close below the opening bar low. Yes, okay, this one, yes, right? But you know, the market, right, is also seeing things and giving you a bit of a clue. Okay, so what happened was that you realize that there was this very, either you can say that there's manipulation, or either you can say that it's very exaggerative type of movement. But whatever it is, end of the day, all right, there was a fair bit of a buying here, okay, to result it closing above the previous low. Okay, so the previous low was never broken, right? If you have shorted into, let's say, the close of the 1 hour bar, the distance between the place that you shorted and the place that you have the previous low is actually very tight. There's not much distance left. Okay, now next, if you have shorted on the retracement, that means back in the opening bar low, right? So then the previous low will be a possible profit target, all right, but you also realize that you are heading into a zone of a resistance. You might not have a lot of space. Okay, now this also means that my consideration is this, right? It doesn't mean you can't short. Okay, nobody knows this outcome. Okay, because it might be that at this point, right, that the trend is quite entrenched. Okay, that means that you're going to have a lower high here, and a lower low, and a lower high, and then the lower low. All right, and then right now this is going to be a lower high. Okay, until that it showed the upside, it is still regarded as a down move. Okay, so it's just going to be tough. Tough means that it's just going to be a tough fight, because then those people who are bullish will be looking at this place, the 367.5, as a place to buy, because that's a support, right? So people who are looking at this downtrend here would be looking at a continuation for hope that this support will be broken. You see, all right? So today the short is still valid, right? But two things can be done. Number one, always sell near to the high. That means that if you want, do not trade in at the 1 hour close, but then wait for retracement, because we are near to the support, we are near to the previous low. Reduce your sizing. Yes, you are in a fight, right, where you know nobody knows the outcome. Okay, and then they are just waiting for an outcome from somebody else. Okay, so that is so far Singapore market. All right. In terms of reporting, past already. We don't have internal drivers, right? Whatever cases of a COVID is not going to affect the financial market anymore, okay? Unless that suddenly we have 30,000, okay? what we know, all right, and it's just it doesn't create fear, all right, because it doesn't concern me, then it won't affect the financial market. All right. Okay. Yes, you can set TP at PL, correct. All right, but the key thing is that reduce size and always sell near to the high. Okay. Now that there is still a chance because of this downtrend here, that there is still a possibility that it might just get resisted and come down. This one I do not know. All right. But if let's say, for example, price close above the MACD line, close above the opening bar low, opening bar high, so that will become a buy, right? So that will become a buy signal. Okay. As I said, right, it would be better, for example, if price can come down, for example, like come down again, and then near to the support, near to the previous low, right, near to this support here, then you're gonna have an opening bar here, and then price actually close above it. That would be the best scenario. Okay. Now, coming back, right, into what I'm trying to say. So in the market, there are certain settings. The setting, right, is replicable. That means that you can repeat that. Okay. The only thing is that not all the time, not every day, the instrument that you are trading has that setting. All right. So for example, I think that James would know, or for those who took my Forex lesson, I kept saying that there's this retest here. I think that I don't know where is it already. It's a day chart. So there's this one point here, and then it moved up. It cannot. It has to come back down, right? It's retesting. That's why on a Tuesday I will say, okay, come on, even at the previous low, let's put it in. Okay, because that's the setting that always works. Because not always work, but works most of the time. So what we need to do is that we need to take the same method and make sure that we cycle through the different instruments that can be traded. Okay, that will become more profitable than to just fixate on one. Okay, so I'm not opportunistic, but I'm just saying that when there's trade, right, I can smell it and then I can just put it in and then that's it. So today I tell you, I'm not going to put in any trade unless that is to the long side. Okay, so this is the consideration here. All right, although I still know that it could potentially come down. Okay, but if let's say tomorrow it's going to work in what I basically predicted, that means for it to come down, hopefully it can, right? Then for the long side to happen, then yes, I will put in the long side. Okay. Okay, let me just answer the few questions that you have. All right, start from the Kuma has been asking the trading view already. Let me just answer your question. What is the problem that you have is that you have chosen the wrong fee. Okay, so you at this place you key in STI. All right, choose the one that has TVC as the source. Okay, is that okay? Now, if yours is index E, all right, then it could be yours is not a paid version. This one I can't help you because I also have the E here. I also have this one here, right? So if yours is not, then you just have to go and ask TradingView. But you ask TradingView, I don't think that they will support you. So there's only one here. You have to choose the TBC. STI on uptrend since early and subject to there being no surprise which continue, and that this is a retracement phrase. This is on the basis of the certainty of a recent FOMC statement and the general tolerable VIX. Augustine, you want to think what I really think? I would really think that, right? Let's skip. You know, I have a trading team, right? They're all males. Sometimes the languages they use, right? You know what male will use in the army. Okay, you all know what I'm referring to, right? Okay, so in the most thing is that please skip looking at the FOMC statement. Whatever that they say, right, the market probably discounted them. Okay, VIX is one of the instruments now where when it's relevant, they bring it out. When it's not relevant, they skip it. So it's more like if I want to find an excuse, I would just take it out and then use it as an excuse. If I have no more other excuses, then I will just skip it. Okay, so I would rather just trade it as it is, right? So the fact is, number one, right, STI is not in a trend and has not been in a trend where unlike the other market has been. Okay, so if you look at the context, for STI, in a general 10-year context, this is what we are up to. Okay, so if we know what is value, then trading inside here does not qualify for investment, because based on a 10-year cycle, we hasn't been out of that 10-year cycle. All right, so if we just follow sell high, buy low, then we would be near to that sell. Unfortunately, that there are multiple highs here. All right. Why is it that many people are trading into the Hong Kong markets and into the US market? That's because some other markets, right? Some others, you know, potentials of the other market, they are all trending mode. Very nice trending. Trending means that you don't need to go and look too far. All right, as long as you're willing to take the risk, you just throw the money inside and then park there, wait there, and hope that whatever possible stocks that you picked up could be the trending one, and they could just give you that explosive return. Okay, but STI is not. STI has been the range, right? So I wouldn't want to use any other factors. I would just say that, hey, look, the day chart here, there is no sign of it yet that it is turning. However, price is near to a whole load of a whole chunks of a resistance. Okay, we shouldn't be going on the aggressive buy here. Okay, that's all. What would be the general rationale of market participant if there is such a reversal? Basically, that they will view that the market is no longer good, or they will just want to take risks. Whatever reason that you know, all right. To me, when they are being put up in the newspaper, they will be equal to excuses. Okay, excuses means that there is really no key reason. It's just that they want to exit. So when the reporters, right, call and ask people in the industry, what we do is that we will just tell you things which are obvious. Okay, unfortunately, I have to say that, because if it's not obvious, right, you won't put it up in the newspaper. So for example, I say that STI is a high, we should be taking profit already, but nobody would call me right now to say that, should I take profit for STI? All right, they will only call me when STI one day drop 100 points. And then they say, hey, look, should we be actually taking profit right now? You know, but then it already dropped 100 points already, right? Okay, I forgot the good reward to risk ratio. What question? How to select a good entry price for long side now? I don't know how to answer this question because I forgot the context. Okay, I put a stop loss at 366.9. I got filled and lost. I always get filled if I put stop loss. Why? Do you put a stop loss? 366.9. 366.9. What is your entry price? 366.9. Yeah. If you have gone short, if you put 366.9, you will be filled. I think so. Wait, somebody is not milk. Okay. Look, share for HS, what ticker is HS is HK50. No, the XD for tomorrow has already been priced in for long. Long already, if it's Simsky, right, Dylan? If it's Simsky, right, then I will be looking at a close here like this. Okay. All right. Or if it come back down here, then there's this opening bar, right? Then here like this. You can still use the SG free to trade, but then you're gonna miss out 1 bar, okay, because you're gonna start late. All right. 1 hour late. That means that you're gonna miss out the opening bar. I would really think that you might not want to. Okay. Anyway, because for S3 free, right, they are following the Simsky. Okay, they are following the Simsky, and they added the cost into the spread, right? So therefore, with that one missing bar, I wouldn't want to consider trading it, or unless that I'm very confident. All right, then I would just look at the price back here in Philip, right, and then I just put it into S3 free. But I wouldn't want to advise that. Okay. Augustine, I think that with your statement, I mean with your comment, right, it's a struggle between versus long term or mid term versus trading. So for me, right, I think that the if you look at okay, let me just share with you a little bit, right? Just give me a minute, just answer a few questions. Just give me a while, just because I have different windows, so I have to shift my windows right here. Then sometimes when after I shifted, I actually forget to. Okay, just give me a while. Just let me set it up. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is Hong Kong 50. If you want to look at Hong Kong 50, right? Then there are visible range for Hong Kong 50. So for example, this is a resistance range, all right? And then somewhere at the bottom here is a support range, or, you know, we can see it here, or you want to text it here, right? Okay, so if Hong Kong is currently in this range here, right? But if you take a look at the market for Hong Kong 50, as in HSI or Hang Seng, right? The context of what happened 10 years ago or even 7 years ago, right, is different from the context right now because they kept changing the component stocks. All right, but if history can give us a clue, then the Hang Seng, all right, it's still in an uptrend situation. So therefore, emerging markets, or maybe that if you look at maybe Chinese market, if you look at those stocks that are listed there, right, they are still in a way still growing. Okay, but so what I'm looking at, right, is I'm actually looking to add on my exposure in the Hong Kong market when it's near here. Okay, so along this line, and every time when it's at the low, for example, I would want to add, because sometimes when we add a position to build a long-term position, right, we are not able to catch it at the low real bottom. Okay, real bottom here, right? So in this case, at this, I might just add in here, or I might just add somewhere around here, or add somewhere around here. Okay, but in terms of building long-term position, I won't want to buy here. Okay, all right, now next one. However, let's say, for example, based on the trading context, let's say I'm in a trading context right now, okay, and you're gonna ask me, you know, what I want to do here when the long term I actually buying, right? Okay, so here I actually wanted to sell, and let's say if it comes down, all right, and then it goes up, right, and then when it came here, I also still want to sell. Okay, let's say when it goes down here, and then when it goes up, all right, I also still want to sell. Okay, I will be trading the short side. Okay, but the long side of me, I will be actually looking to buy. Okay, all right. Okay, now then When it's here, did I get out of my long-term position? Because remember, right, I built a long-term position since 20, when was it? Here. Okay, here. All right, I built a long-term position since here and here. All right. So when it goes up, did I see this resistance? Totally, I saw. But the position that I had, right, in the China and the Hong Kong market, they gives regular dividends. Okay. But what I did then in my own stock trading, I actually shorted here and I never give up my long-term position because I still see it actually going up. Okay. So you have to differentiate, right, between whether you are trading or whether you are doing long-term. Okay. Now, a lot of people get mixed up, for example, and especially when we are doing stocks. A lot of people initially started, unfortunately, with thinking that I could just trade the swing, trade it. But when things doesn't go too well for them, they will convince themselves, all right, to say that I want to invest for long term. And when it keep dropping, right, they will say, never mind, I want to keep it for my grandchildren. Okay, so to be very, very blunt, it happened and then it always happen. Okay, so therefore we have to know what we want. Okay, there are stocks that we keep it and then it reverse upwards. But I'm sure that you have your fair share of stocks that you kept it and then it kept dropping, right? Okay, it's just that when stocks that kept dropping, right, you don't tell people, you don't say anything, right? And then when stocks that kept going up, right, you want to look at them every day and you want to tell and share your joy. Okay, so that's human psychology. Yesterday, one of my a person I know of, right, that I know for about 10 plus years, working in the industry. Okay, and then she came to me, she said that, hey, look, you know, this person that on IG kept posting the win and etc. All right, so she's very tempted, even though she knows that, right, the person was dodgy. She knows that, she said that, I mean, this industry is so long, I've seen so many people, there are so many people who are dodgy, and then I know instantly, but I'm still tempted. Okay, so then I asked her one question, tell me your salary. She doesn't want to tell me the salary. All right. And then I say, hey, look, even if you don't want to tell me your salary, what makes you think that, right, you will go and share your winnings and tell everybody every day how much that you make, right? I wouldn't want to do that. I told her for one reason. I said that in Singapore, capital gain, right, is actually non-taxable. Do you know that? Capital gain not taxable. But there is actually a very thin fine line between what is capital gain. For example, if you sit on your chair, all right, and trade day in and day out from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So is this a job or is this a leisure? Because the definition of capital gain means that you actually had a job, right? And then you are just investing. So that becomes capital gain. Okay, so you say, no, I never sit there. I have a job. Then I sat here every 2 hours routinely. I routinely look at the market. I just look at the market every day when I come back home. And then, but then equally that can become a job as well. A part-time job, $50 of income income must pay CPF already. So therefore, you know, if you really are making money, right, I wouldn't want to go and post it up and going to tell everybody how much I make, you know. All right. Okay, so that's my point. Yeah. So therefore, what am I trying to say? Okay, so therefore, anyway, I forgot everything. All right. So HSBC, let's take a look at HSBC later on. Okay, so there was a question on Bitcoin, crypto. Okay, so crypto is another. Now, crypto to me, right, is a trading instrument. I mean, I want to mention Bitcoin, okay? Sorry. I want to mention Bitcoin because I wanted to let you know that you can really make a lot of money from there, right? Yes, exactly, Helmi. Exactly. You know what? Why I want to go and look at Bitcoin. Okay, so there's a lot of tricks out there in the market, but you have to there are times that we can make a lot of money, but there are also times that we can lose a lot of money. So let me just ask you one question. I'm just hoping that nobody knows it, and then I can do this demonstration easily. So what happened was that this was the high of Bitcoin. Okay, and then there's one broker, right? Every time when Bitcoin goes up, right, there's one broker. You all know this broker. All of you know this broker. Start with a P. When every time Bitcoin goes up at the high, every time they will send a notification via their platform, and they tell you that Bitcoin went up to how much, and and etc. They will tell everybody that Bitcoin went up and it's at the high. So whenever I receive the notification, right, I will go and take a look at Bitcoin. Why is that so? I just want to see, right, when you will fail. Okay, sometimes it can be just as easy as like this. Okay, so this was the high in Bitcoin, all right, and the logic for people is that, you know, people talk about it, and then okay, people talk about it, and there was a lot of wah. So at this white color here, I know that the next color is black. Okay, I just want to hide it, but then I can't hide it nicely, so I don't have an F9 button here. Okay, so when you're at the higher, what will you do then? Crypto Bitcoin. You want to receive notification from P? Amanda, that's a good way to. Are you sure? Look, how can you be selling? Because then it's a white color candle here at the high. It break high already. Because you all can see the price chart. That's why you know that it's a sell. But there's no logic to sell. Only Kim Ming is honest. Should be buying more. Okay. I don't know. No, they sent to me notification. Okay, and then after that, right, it actually came down here nicely. So what we know that, so this was a recent high, but then we also know that this one, this white color here, right, was a closed above a previous high. Okay, the green line, and then it came back down. Boom. Okay, so that's a very, very obvious wash and rinse here trade. Okay, like what Helmi said, huh? Very, very obvious wash and rinse trade. Okay, you should see how aggressive price are being pushed up. Okay, that means that it came down a little bit. Just clean this one. It came down a little bit. Okay, and after that, it just continued to push higher. All right, until can't stand it already, and then one long bar that slammed it down. Okay, so there is all this activity that are going on, right? That has a very that is vicious. Okay, well, I want to say that. Okay, that's vicious. Okay, so long bar here. So this is the current status of Bitcoin. I think that it's gonna drop. All right. But then there are also other people who are going to say that it's going to be $300 and people are going to buy frenzy. I don't know. Right. I just afraid that suddenly, you know, they will pull the trigger and then it becomes worthless. I'm just afraid of it only. Right. But so I only adopt a trading stand in Bitcoin. That means that every time I look at it, I only trade that. So the last time that I traded in Bitcoin, how many of you get the 20,000? Yes, if you short the Bitcoin, you're gonna get hit SL likely, depending on where you put that SL, but yes, likely. But then this today is a very good hint to say that, hey, look, the wash and rinse of Bitcoin happens. Okay. Because like previously when I traded the Bitcoin, it was here. So first time there's this wash and rinse. So this one was a W. All right, it's actually to be MACD line. Okay. And then after that, right, so there's another one more wash and rinse here. Okay, so one time, two time, and then after that it moved up. Okay, so I'm thinking that perhaps, right, it might just moved up one more time. That means that test the high again, like this, same as how we traded one more time up here. Okay, and then before it will come down. Okay, so that's number one, right? Number two, right? Again, into the lesson of changing the mindset today. All right, I want to use different instruments to talk about it. All right, so this is also one trade that I was let me just clean away. I just give you a bit of a different exposure, but then they're all wash and rinse, right? Okay. And later we're going to take a look at the stocks. Now, okay, now take a look at this one here, right? This very long bar, long up bar, white color, right? Okay, what do you think will happen to the price? I know that you saw already, but just play along with me. Play along with me. You look at this very long bar, right? What will happen? What do you think? Is the psychology and the sentiment of the people here? Are they bullish or bearish? Yeah, very clear as a bull, right? What is TC? TAR. Okay, so this is a bull, all right. But I mean, if you have taken my Tuesday session, all right, and evening session with my Forex guy, right, you will know that my stand was totally entirely different, right? My stand was that we are waiting for a sell. All right, guys. Okay. So therefore, this kind of things keep happening, always happening. All right. And then, such an obvious thing, and then just turn the other side. Okay. So these are all very clear way of people trading it very differently. Okay. And then turn the other side. All right. So what I wanted to talk about the mindset is this one here. All right. Is that you might cycle yourself to buy at the low. Okay, wait for the retracement higher, then can short. And then when it's at the high, please don't chase. Wait for price to retrace and then buy at the low. Okay, when it's at the high, all right, prepare for a sell if you can have a test back again, for example. It's a different way of trading. Don't say that because, hey, look, Vinny, this is oil, right? Therefore, my market like Simsky or the Singapore stocks will not happen. It happened and it's there, right? Okay, so always, not saying that it's contrarian. Always be careful. Don't get sucked in with all this extravagant type of a movement here. All right. Be prepared for that wash and rinse to happen. And the market is very vicious right now. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's take a look at stocks. Just give me a minute. So I will take a look at the stocks already. So there was a question on Intel. Okay, let me just address this question first. Okay, take a look at it in context. And for stocks, I also look at it, always look at it from the week chart point of view. Start looking at the week chart, huh? Okay, and because that's the one way that you can be looking at strong levels. Okay, and then the second way is to look at it from in terms of trend. All right, so because for stocks, right, there are a lot of selection. Okay, so you wouldn't want you want to have a stocks which are uptrend, for example, to buy. Okay, so I'm just give you one example here, right? So for example, in Intel case, you probably don't want to be too aggressive because you know that they are not a trend but trend range bounds. Yes, correct. Okay, so probably in terms of looking for buy, all right, people would be looking at it now. I wouldn't say they will buy, right? Looking at it maybe near to the low here. Okay, all right, because it's not a trend. All right, so let me just give you what is a trend. I don't want to touch Tesla lah, huh? Because it's a, let me just see whether NVIDIA have or not. Yes, so this is a trend, okay? Not now, not this trend right now, all right? Because then now, you know that price is actually overstretched. But in terms of trend, so it's quite clear to see a trend. For example, they would break something. So this is the break something here, okay? And after that, it will break something. It will never look back. It will break something. It will come back down, for example. Okay, so that's called a trend. Same thing, for example, right? Let's say, for example, if NVIDIA is to retrace, okay, so the visible next high will be somewhere around here like this. Okay, so then that becomes a trend. Okay, so when we look at, let's say, a chart, then we want to go and find, let's say, a trend, an uptrend or downtrend. All right, and then to go and look for levels to guide us to buy or sell. So for example, this was a resistance and then now turn into support. So you can look for wash and rinse here. It will be a lot more profitable. Okay, all right. So this type of a movement here, right? So when we apply the wash and rinse, there's also context. Okay, as of when we are trading into the Simsky as well. Okay, so Amanda, I answered already. This one really nothing to talk about. You want to look for sell? Short? No. Take profit? So if you are looking for take profit, for example, sell means take profit, not short, right? Then take profit. If I were you, I'll just take it already. Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, I know. So you want to bet on the earnings. Then if you want to have it right, then it depends on where you bought in. Okay. So for example, earnings can be playing both sides, up or down. Right. So to me, if I buy around here, all right, I will tend want to just lock in first before the earnings season. Okay. Because remember that with the same technique, right? Same technique, we're going to have potential for another 10 more stocks to come in to buy, but then I probably don't have enough money for that 10 more stocks. Okay, so I prefer to, it depends on your strategy. So for example, you can sell and then use the options, then it's going to give you like controlled loss, for example. That means to bet, I use the word called bet the earnings with an option. Okay, then if you lose, then you don't lose all your basket. Okay, so again, there's many things to talk about here, so the context will be very different. All right. Sometimes for the US stocks, the is not priced in though, right? So I mean, my principle is that buy near the base. When it's far out, sell it, take profit, and then there will be another one more stocks that's gonna be near the base for me to buy. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at. So let's go back to the Intel. Okay, so this is Intel, right? So I will start looking at it right from the level. So to me, the level is actually not good. Okay, now next, you probably can see that there is this bit of a wash here. All right, that's why you say on the week chart, there is a confirmation of the wash and rinse. Okay, so yes, that's true. All right, then you must buy near after the wash and rinse has happened. That means that right now, right? So this is a confirmation of the wash and rinse. All right, then you just buy near to the wash line. Okay, but again, look at it, the key wash, right? That means that this was a huge down. In order for price to really show that it is an up, for example, right? Then there is a need to close above the other level here, 52. Okay, the fact that it is range bound, the fact that price reacted to this, I will really be looking at coming back down here again for a buying opportunity. All right, I wouldn't just buy like this because then the immediate the resistance is near, so you don't have a lot of range. Okay, so let's take a look in terms of the day chart. So this is the day chart. So for example, let's say you think that there is a weak wash here. week wash here, right? And you can fine tune your trade to trade into the day. So in the day, right, the wash level is going to be here. This one. Okay, so that's your wash, right? Okay, so you would, if you want to buy that on a day, then you will be actually buying somewhere around here. Or to be realistic, right, unless that you're not slipping, you will be buying somewhere around this bar here. Okay, but then this will be the range that you're talking about, because then immediately hit right into a resistance. Right. So therefore, when it comes back down here, let's say if you comes back down here, if you really want and you're in love with this stock, again, my stand is that this is not a good level, and then, you know, is not a trending type of stocks. It's just in the range. So that's why I use quite strong terminology. So if you are really in love, you really want to do that, then you want to take note that price never closed below this week wash line. Right, and then you have a bullish buy around here to continue buying. All right, okay. So that's one thing. No, when you TP, do it by use a TP at XATR or something. You can do that, but what I like to do for stocks is I like to use all these key levels to help me. Okay, the key level will be more relevant for stocks. Okay, so for example, let's say back into the Intel again, we go to the week. All right, so for example, let's say price can close above, let's say this wash line at 52. Okay, the next resistance will be somewhere around here at 55. Okay, and then if you can close above 55, the next resistance will be somewhere around here. I like to use each of the key levels as a guide. When you use the key levels, you realize that they would coincide very much with the ATR. But key levels in the stocks, right, it's usually easier to see, all right, than versus the ATR. All right, the ATR is most suitable in across all instruments, but especially when you do a lower time frame trading, then you find that it is better than just a horizontal level. Actually, I don't want to, I don't know much about Intel and blah, blah, blah. I don't know much about this chip. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't know much, right? Because when I trade in the stock market, that's why I say that stocks is a lot more tougher than Forex and even index. Why is that so? Do you know that in China, they ramp up the production of chips? But it depends on what kind of chips that you're talking about, whether you're talking about the 14mm or do they have the 3mm, 5mm or something mm? I also don't know. All right, but in China, obviously there's oversupply, overproduction in terms of the lower end chips. Yeah, the lower end chips oversupply, so that's why a lot of Chinese chip maker, they are not doing well. Okay, so they started to correct already, but a lot of the Chinese chip maker right now has corrected to quite a low point. So I actually don't know about this one. Yeah, the China cannot. So they tried that, and then they feel SIMC tried to go on the lower end, but I think very soon they will just catch up. Lower end chips in oversupply, yes, they will just catch up very soon, I think, with the technology they are developing. Okay, so that's why I say stocks has to do with a lot of fundamental, and then you want to know what's really moved. All right, so let's take a look at HSBC. You see this level here? Waiting patiently. Okay, like I mentioned, right? I want to buy when it's near to my key level. Okay, buy when it's in my favor. Okay, why is that so? Because then there's lots of opportunity there, but then there's too little money already. Okay, unless you have a lot of money, then you let me know. Okay, so I put key levels there, and I wait for that, and I have set the alerts and all this stuff. Okay, so I always want to buy on my own terms. I don't want to buy when there's an urgency, so I take it quite slowly. So yes, I highlighted HSBC. I'm actually waiting for that level. If it missed it, fine. Okay, I can wait for another one more opportunity. All right. Okay. It does, but I think that the market is we have to see, because then you're just buying at the low of the range. All right, and we're gonna see whether the reversal is possible. Can I not touch on the airlines because time is up? I'll just go through. Okay. Okay, so this is SGX, right? So initially, I thought the SGX would break above it, okay, long base, and then would stay, all right, but it didn't. So obviously, SGX to me didn't manage to stay above the resistance that it broke, all right, and unless that it come back down into the base, like here or here, okay, I would consider and look at it. I wouldn't even say I want to buy, but I would just consider. All right, because buying into this and then if something that's very slow and not like in the limelight, then it's going to be very, very slow. So I'd rather park the money somewhere else. Okay, so don't have nothing on SGX. Yeah, I wouldn't want to consider any other levels except this one here at $8. Yeah, so that's how I look at stocks. I look at stocks, right, in a because there's too many, right? So I want to make sure I get the good ones, and then if I want to cut, right, I can cut quickly. Okay. Yes, but XM dropped further, but however, okay, it is still not below the low yet. So I also have XM near here. Okay, I haven't cut my stop loss. I haven't hit the stop loss yet. So I won't be hopeful to say that it's going to come back here and test. If it breaks this low, right, I will just cut it. Okay, I wouldn't want to accumulate. First, to me, it has to reverse first. Okay, it has to reverse to go up first. XM actually lost their ranking in terms of sale of handphone. All right, to what is the Chinese brand that starts with V or starts with O? Oppo? No. V what? Did XM lose to Oppo? I think so. Okay, so XM used to be second position, then dropped to number 3. It was overtaken by Oppo, but XM is developing in terms of its IoT. Okay, but I wouldn't want to drill too much about it. Okay, if it's below here, I want to cut my loss, but then it hasn't. So I mean, of course, I hope that it can just go up here, all right, to move up. Okay, so just wait and see, no choice. Also, at least I'm not buying here or here. I'm just buying near the bottom here. Okay. Okay. Just to some recommendation on SGX, right? So this kind of recommendation, right, have sometimes profitable, sometimes not profitable. End of the day, right, have to really look at price. So for stocks, I mean, as I said, right, it's really a bit of a, how to say that, too many things to consider. All right, so it's good, for example, if you can get one that can explode upwards like Tesla, always in the news and always creating news. All right, but there are many bad ones out there. Okay, I think that there's someone who wants to talk about Tencent. I want to also look at Tencent. Yesterday, Tencent, right, had its earning. Okay, the earning. So this is what happened yesterday. See, this was the expectation of the earnings. But today when earnings came out, it's just not very good. Okay, but if you really ask me what is Tencent, right, I'll just tell you, if we look purely based on the price, okay, where this was a previous low, okay, and then this was a recent high, all right, then if Tencent is really good, yes, just wait for a while. If Tencent is really good, right, okay, then it would have not attempt to challenge that previous high that it broke. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. All right. Therefore, in order for me to consider back Tencent, right, then there is a need to go back to here like this. Need to go up here. All right. So what I like to do is that you realize a lot of stocks, right, were correct, and a lot of people don't take a look at the month chart. Okay, I look at the month chart, and then if you just purely look at the month chart, it's not very confusing. All right, so Tencent has been dropping over here. So none of the month, right, ever had a close above any of the previous low like this. Okay, none of them. Only when it happens around here, this cluster. So even if you buy around this cluster, it's better than you buy anywhere. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. So next one is that if you look at Tencent, none of it, right, ever closed back above the month level. None of it. And the month level, this one is actually very far. So it means that, right, if I really want to get a good one like this type, right, then it has to have a lot of change of hands. All right, it has to also not only change of hands, fundamentally it must improve. Okay, so with this, it means that only time it can only time would tell whether really people are interested to buy it. Okay, so what am I waiting for Tencent? I don't care whether $500 is cheap or whether $400 is cheap. What I'm interested, right, is that if it can come back down, for example, on a month level, and then at least close back up, right, then even if I buy here at $500, for example, I miss the best point. I know that, right, it's going to move up pretty fast. Okay, because I kept emphasizing one thing. You realize, right, it is not, I don't have a lot of money. There are a lot of stocks out there. Okay, correct. What Augustine said is correct. So yesterday, for example, I mean in terms of forex, right, we talk about the CAD movement. Okay, so Euro CAD, Pound CAD, okay, CAD Yen, CAD Sing. All right, then I also talk about, for example, the Euro dollar. Okay, so it's easier to monitor all this. All right, for stocks, right, there's a lot more effort. So actually, my stock list quite a lot, no? This one, quite a lot. And then after that, right, there's a lot leh. Many things to look. I actually have scanner also. I built scanner, and then I built scanner, filter, many things, yeah. So that's a lot of work here actually. Okay, I end my lesson now because 4 o'clock I still have one more. Okay, so starting from now onwards, let's take a look at what happened to the, yeah, so it's a bit tough. Okay, so it's not moving. All right, so try to be careful about today's trade. All right, and I see you again on Tuesday. And then starting from today on, next week onwards, I'll cover a little bit more on stocks already. And if anytime there's a trade possible, I'll just do it live for you here to demonstrate the trading platform. Okay, all right, I see you again next week. Okay, bye-bye.